Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Several areas in the Caraga region are now flooded due to persistent rains, forcing some residents to evacuate. Some localities in Surigao del Sur experience flooding up to shoulder level due to rains since Saturday night. Over in the town of Lianga, residents have already begun preemptive evacuation. Massive flooding is also seen in Tandag City. Surigao del Sur Governor Ayek Pimentel is calling on the public to coordinate with local officials on evacuation and emergency orders. In Dinagat Islands, heavy rains and strong winds caused a landslide along the National Highway. Tropical storm Auring is expected to make landfall over the Dinagat Islands, Eastern Samar, and Leyte area between tonight or Monday early morning. Meanwhile, thousands of people have been stranded at various ports across the country due to Tropical Storm Auring. The Coast Guard reports that as of 8 o'clock in the morning today, over 3,800 people, 67 vessels, one motorbangka, and more than 1,600 rolling cargos are stuck at ports. At least 64 vessels and 40 motorbangkas, meanwhile, are taking temporary shelter at a precautionary measure. Now, several LGUs have already evacuated their residents ahead of the expected landfall of Tropical Storm Auring. For the latest on this, we have NDRRMC spokesperson Mark Timbal. He's joining us over the phone. Good afternoon, sir.
Ms. Riza, hi. Good afternoon, and to all our listeners and viewers. Good afternoon to everyone.
Sir, how many families have we evacuated so far?
Through our continuing monitoring here at the NDRMC Operations Center, we have received reports from Region 7, Region 8, Region 10, and Caraga of a total of 3,162 families that had been preemptively evacuated in view of the arrival of Tropical Storm Auring. These 3,162 families can be translated to more or less 10,911 individuals that had been evacuated.
Sir, we're seeing actually massive flooding. Are there reports already that we've received of casualties or injuries?
So far, we haven't received any reports of people getting injured or killed because of this flooding. And there was also a landslide incident that was reported to us. But what we're hoping is that since our local government has been very proactive in evacuating the local population in the danger zones, they have taken everyone out of danger zone.
Sir, we know that you're coordinating with the LGUs. What do local officials say about their preparations?
Back in Wednesday and Friday last week, when we started our coordination meetings for preparations, the local governments have reported that they have begun preparations for the preemptive evacuation, the preparation of the evacuation centers, the inventory of the relief items, as well as the vehicles and equipment for the rescue teams that would be deployed in case of emergency. The coordination between the regional disaster councils as well as the national disaster council also confirmed the sending of timely warnings not just to the disaster managers, but also to the local population through the usual text messages and the other channels of communication that we have utilized.
Sir, aside from flooding, there's also the threat of a storm surge and a landslide. What can you advise the residents likely to be affected?
Yes, local governments have been warning our people relative to this danger. So to our residents occupying those places or living in those places prone to landslides, floods, and storm surges, please make sure that you coordinate regularly with your local authorities. And if they have told you that evacuation is already being required, please make sure that you cooperate, bring your go bags, and please make sure that you wear your face mask, your face shield, and bring your sanitizers, and make sure that you observe proper physical distancing while evacuating and staying in evacuation centers.
Sir, are there also guidelines and recommendations when it comes to COVID-19 prevention at evacuation centers?
That's correct, Ms. Riza. Back in 2020, during the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic, the NDRMC issued a new set of guidelines incorporating minimum health standards in our operations protocols to ensure that both the responder and the people being rescued or evacuated will be protected from the disease. So this requires everyone to wear the face mask, face shield, and it emphasizes advanced evacuation planning as well as proper management of the evacuation centers wherein there's only a limited number of people who will be housed in an evacuation center, and to be able to house all the evacuated population, local governments are advised to ensure that all available facilities that can be used as evacuation centers would be prepared and utilized for this purpose.
Sir, finally, do we have projections as to how much damage are we expecting from Auring, considering that she's supposed to make landfall either tonight or tomorrow morning?
Yes. So far, we don't have any damage estimates yet, since we will be conducting the damage assessment immediately after the onslaught of the storm. Although what we can see here is that the storm will not, technically the storm is just a tropical storm and not a typhoon. So we can expect the usual types of damages that would be caused by the wind brought by this weather disturbance. But what poses the greater threat is the risk of floods and landslides that had been heightened due to the La Nina phenomenon that we had been experiencing. So we are constantly coordinating with the local government to ensure that if indeed these things happen, we will be able to get a projection at the soonest possible time.
Well, thank you for your time and for those information. That was NDRRMC spokesperson, Mr. Mark Timbal. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Commonwealth Market is set to go porkless tomorrow as a call for help due to mounting losses amid the ongoing price cap in the metro. Let's get more details on this. We have Camille Samonte. She's joining us live from Mandaluyong. Camille, what do you have for us?
Riza, all meat vendors in Commonwealth Market in Quezon City have agreed to stage yet another pork holiday on Monday. This is in protest against the ongoing price ceiling on pork products in Metro Manila. Market vendors said the price ceiling on meat products is set too low and is forcing them to sell at a great loss. The cap limits prices of pork shoulders or kasim to 270 pesos per kilo, belly or liempo to 300 per kilo, and chicken to 160 a kilo in wet markets in NCR. Most of the vendors stress that the price cap is too close to the production cost or farm gate price, leaving just a little room for profit. Retailers are now appealing to the Agriculture Department to expand the price ceiling outside NCR since most of the supplies are still coming from nearby provinces. Some vendors, meanwhile, opted to sell frozen meat products instead. The DA said they have been delivering hog supplies from Visayas and Mindanao to major markets in Metro Manila since last week. But some vendors in Commonwealth Market said they have not received these shipments. The DA earlier received reports that wholesalers benefiting from the shipment program divert hogs outside Metro Manila to earn more. Agriculture Assistant Secretary Noel Reyes said these violators are taking advantage of the ASF situation. Pork dealers are also calling for a Luzon-wide price freeze to stop the modus. Still, Reyes defended the price caps implementation as they believe it balances the interests of both consumers and traders. Let's hear more from pork vendors and agriculture ASEC Reyes.
Is at 270. Yung mga ritaso namin dyan na hindi nabibinta, wala na, tapon na yan. Kaya talo kami, abonado kami, lagi.
Aminin man namin sa hindi, katulad nga sabi ni Tita Norma, may kita sa papel pero walang kita sa mismong aktual. Kasi hindi na bumabalik yung puhunan namin ng sakto do sa pera eh.
May mga detractors tayo na gustong ipakita na hindi ubra yan, di ba? Lagi naman ganon eh. What we're saying is, nakinabang na sila. We're doing this for the consumers. Binabalansin natin ang interest. Kung hindi na tayo naglagay ng price ceiling, di namayagpag sila.
Riza, the DA has also recommended to increase the minimum access volume of pork imports in the country at lower tariffs. They are also awaiting for President Duterte's approval. Riza?
Thank you. That was Camille Samonte reporting live from Mandaluyong. And a historic moment for the Philippines. Maya 2, the country's second cube satellite, was successfully launched to the International Space Station earlier today.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have engine ignition. Main engine start. And we have liftoff up in Aries for the NG-15 mission along flight facility. Engines are at 100%.
The Maya 2 was designed and developed by Filipino scholars Mark Angelo Purio, Israel Zenar Bautista, and Marlon Sehera through the Stamina 4 space program. It has a camera for image and video capturing and is programmed to collect data remotely. The Cube satellite was launched abroad the SS Catherine Johnson Cygnus spacecraft, along with two other identical CubeSats from Japan and Paraguay. And for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.